In this episode of Wrecked Bike Rebuild, we reinstalled the radiator with the radiator brace that we were missing last time and found out it was... Well, we didn't have it. Damn it. We also reinstalled the radiator with the Samco Hoses. And then we attempt to swap...
I'm sorry, I can't.
And,
I can't do it, man.
And... Damn it. And then we attempt to swap out the banjo bolts for pressure switched banjo bolts, but something happens. Find out what in today's episode of Wrecked Bike Rebuild. What's going on, guys? Let us know in the comments and hit a like down below if you enjoy the little teasery Dragon Ball Z inspired intro bit. This is Wrecked Bike Rebuild, the motorcycle build show here on YouTube, where we take wrecked bikes, turn them into dream bikes, and inevitably...
Turn dream bikes into wrecked bikes. That would be a great show.
Right, that would be a great show. But yeah, that's what we do here on Wrecked Bike Rebuild. And if you want to be one of the people that wins the motorcycle at the end of the show, once we are finally done building it, go check out the top link down below. That'll take you to the Patreon page where you can support the show and allow
where we are
Oh my God, my sides are hurting. Anyway, this intro is over. My sides hurt. Go check out Patreon or else we wouldn't be able to give bikes away. Okay, now back to the actual show part, and I'm gonna go get a donut. Okay, now the bike hasn't fallen off the lift. You know that I don't trust this shitty Harbor Freight lift. All right, Brian's just gonna keep giving me anxiety. So.
That's fun.
Yeah, sure.
Did you absolutely lose your mind?
Just because, like, a lot of time, money, things into all of that.
I mean, I don't have the money tied up in it, but I have just as much time.
Blood, sweat, and a couple tears.
So, you know, I'm not gonna let it go anywhere.
Okay, well, I'll just have faith. In the last episode, we made an attempt to install hoses for our radiator, and that was way bigger of a pain in the ass than we expected. And then, to cap it all off, we found out that the housing?
Radiator brace.
The radiator brace has a giant ass crack all the way through it. Ass crack.
Sweet.
Nailed it. So, that is where we ended last episode.
What a shitty deal.
We got more coming to you. So, we ordered an OEM brace. This one is structurally sound still. So, in today's episode, the goal, radiator onto here, fan thing onto here, this into there, and then we're gonna do a couple little things that we haven't done yet that we need to. We need to install the pressure switches for the rear brake and the clutch, and we also have to bleed the clutch system. So we're gonna do all that today. Hopefully everything will go well. So, build budget wise, this thing costs like
It was like 110.
Yeah, it was like 110. It actually wasn't that bad. As far as like,
I was super surprised that it wasn't.
Yeah, no,
a whole lot of money.
I was a little worried because that was the first, like, when we found out that this thing was broke, that was the first kind of like surprise we've had this entire season, which that's really good for us. Mm-hmm. So when it was like, it's only like a little $100 thing, not a big deal. I imagine our first step is to remove the fan and then get the radiators over here.
We're gonna remove both radiators off of this, and then we're gonna have to swap over all the little bits and pieces that this does not come with. There's some rubber grommets, there's some speed nuts that slide onto these two, and then there's these little, I'm sure you guys remember, these little sprung doors that are in here and need to get swapped over to this as well. So
oh, I see.
It's gonna take a little bit longer than I thought because I forgot that these little spring things were on here, and I didn't realize that didn't come with them.
Well, I didn't realize that this reservoir was actually part of the brace. That's surprising. Okay, cool. Well, let's get to it then. with a lot of questions about my Instagram shoes. They're from Instagram. They're called like Riders, and they're amazing with the little steel toe things.
Hard toe, safety toe.
Yeah, everybody was asking about them. I absolutely love them. So for all you guys that were curious, it was a rare time where an Instagram ad, totally worth it.
They're all over Facebook too.
Well, I'm sure they have an ad budget of them, just like something astronomical. But can you hate on them if they're a good shoe?
Yep.
Really?
Sure you can. You can hate on anything you want.
So why do I need needle nose? All right, so I just...
Now, look at it before you take it apart, 'cause you got to put it back together, and there's a spring in there.
Right.
So, where does the spring sit? There's grooves. How does it go?
All right, so the J goes down, and the little lever is at the top, and there should be a spot, yep, for the lever, okay. So does this just pull straight out?
It should.
Okay, well, I'm gonna find out if it does after this quick break from our sponsor, Blue Rags. Man, what if we got this company to sponsor Wreck Bike Rebuild? That
Then
would
we'd
be...
never run out. Hold the spring. Yes, that thing was about to go ding, gone forever. Twist, twist.
Okay, so this guy here, we'll play the game of the spring in a second.
Just slide the spring onto the post. Don't
Well-
worry about the groove here. You'll be able to move it later. Just slide the spring on.
Then it's gonna be a pain in the ass to like. Well, I
Well,
guess
just
I
make sure
can-
that goes up top.
Yeah,
There you go. Just like
got
that.
it. Okay.
Make sure you're pushing straight. You don't want to bend that thing too much. It goes all the way up against the body. Okay. So like if you could see, this one was broken, but if you look at this one, it's kind of like a little notch that it sits in.
Oh, I do see that.
There it is.
Yep. All right. Now we just gotta do that one more time. Oh my God, yes. That was a pro move. If you were watching like video games online, that's where the guy would have gone like, and like done a headshot. Oh my God, that was great. Okay,
So does that flappy door work right?
it flaps.
Okay.
So,
Last but not least,
the cap.
cap.
Okay, is that all the parts out of that boy?
This thing was busted up pretty good, huh?
Yeah, it's crazy that we didn't even notice that, but I mean it was.
Whoops.
Alrighty, so now is when we can reinstall the radiators onto this.
Correct.
All right. Did you tighten it on all the way?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Hose up here. That. This thread's there.
Okay. Now let's clean that while that's off.
Yeah.
I got you. Go ahead. I'll get your keys.
I like your shirt.
Thank you. Hello, Mr. Fuzzy. Hi. Didn't touch his food.
Thank you for assisting my wife, Brian.
You're welcome. You didn't really need me to clean that, so
Well,
it was good timing.
yeah, it was good.
She was kind of stuck.
That's all. Reminded me of when I was a kid. My mom would be like, "You
Go
gonna
get
help
the
me with
groceries."
groceries?" And I was like, "I sure can." One run,
Every bag.
every bag, dude. And my mom loved shopping, so like my arm would be like all the way up to here, and I'd be walking inside just like this. It's ridiculous. I guess cleaning the underside of this is kind of pointless though, because it's gonna. I'll give it a
It's up
wipe.
to you.
I'll give it a quick wipe. This is what we do here on Wreck Bike Rebuild. We clean things that nobody will ever see again. Or maybe they will, and it'll be dirty by then. But at least they'll have
Hopefully they won't have to anytime soon.
Right.
Because taking that part off is no fun.
Yeah. So
let's go ahead and put these two back in their home first. They go up here. Those bolts actually thread into aluminum inserts that go into this piece of plastic. So if you over tighten it, you can twist that little metal piece inside the plastic.
Sounds like something we don't want to do. All right, so I know this went up through here, and then that goes there. What does this hose go to?
This goes up to the reservoir. It's the overflow, for if it overheats.
Right. So what coolant will drip out the bottom of the bike? Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yes, sir.
All right, so now that's everything put back into.
Yep.
So we're essentially now where we ended the last episode before we found out it was broke.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So now we're
ready to put the radiator assembly back in.
After all that. Okay. Could we put the rear tire up on a stand?
That's where we're caught. Push the button, release the strap. There you go.
So do the screws here, right here, have hardware that run from the outside into these, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So pretty much we're gonna go.
So these screws are tapped in the middle, and then there's a hole right here with a washer that we're gonna have to thread in.
So
is that where we're gonna secure it?
We're gonna go up and stick the rubber grommets over these, and it should stay there.
Okay,
and
so
then we can put the hardware.
Gotcha,
That's the first bolts we're gonna put on.
All right. So that's it for hosing then?
Yep.
Okay, so now we can...
I really hope that all of this wiring is supposed to go behind the hose. Because I don't remember whether it does or not.
No,
I don't think it does.
No way.
Nope.
Okay. Alrighty, well, since the radiator's on and the hoses are still exposed as much as they're gonna be exposed, we'll do some B-roll so you guys can at least see what they look like, since these are not really a visual component of the bike when it's done.
Interesting. I bet you that was done wrong at the factory.
What?
So this hose hooks in here, and there's a groove right here that it's supposed to sit in, but there's a zip tie blocking it.
Oh, shit.
So when they assembled it at the factory, they missed the hose. So this hose goes to a duplicate sensor to this one. It's on the other side of this. It's a intake air pressure sensor, and it sits in this nice little groove in here. But at this end, there's a zip tie blocking the groove. So the hose won't actually fit in. There's a zip tie in the way. And it's been tightened too much to kind of just try and feed the hose back through it. So we're just gonna cut it, put the hose where it's supposed to be, and then reinstall a brand new zip tie.
So we couldn't fit it in? Oh, it is. It's tight. Okay.
Yeah, it's tight.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I looked at that first, like, oh, just stick it. Oh, not gonna work. At least reroute this thing. It comes up through here and plugs into there. Make sure you're not hooking anything you're not supposed to.
So should it go on the other side of that? Then
It's a battle.
it is. And I'm not winning. Here we go. And this goes under right here. Is this the hardware for all this?
Yes, one of these that's the one missing that bushing.
Got it.
And then the other two, the bushings are still one there, still in there. Is that front hole lined up at all?
It is now. Here,
Okay. No. Now, how bad would it have sucked to try and get that hose clamp on there now?
Yeah,
Which is why we did it before.
yeah, bro, it would have been a nope.
Okay, so do we want to set the battery box back in its place and stuff now too?
Yeah, I think we can go ahead and do that because we don't have anything else going on behind it. So. All right, battery box is back on.
So let's try and get these in their groove like that. This one's going to be super tough. That one actually fell right in, didn't it? And then these. So here's a little trick for these. So see how it has the bump on it like that?
Yeah.
So if you can't get to it from the back, so you can grab it and pull it through. Set it in the hole. Something flat.
Can we grow a punch?
No, that'll poke a hole through it.
Oh, okay.
Nope, I'm not gonna be able to grab it. It's always easier if you can grab it from the back and pull it through,
Right.
because as you pull it, it gets skinny.
Yep. Holy shit.
Pushed right through it.
So this is all ready for the battery whenever I guess we got to order another battery. Does this just get tucked, like plugged in and then tucked behind the fairing, or?
Yeah, because all this stuff, I think this actually has to go on the other side of this hose.
So should we unplug right here?
Yeah, that should be the easiest way.
What does all that plug into?
So one is here. And this goes here.
Oh, it like all
And
plugs
this
into
one
itself.
goes into the exhaust servo, I do believe. Where did we put the servo?
Is that what I'm plugging in right now?
Oh, no, I guess it doesn't go to the servo. Oh, that's right, you put the block off on the servo already. That's it, they're all plugged in.
And this has like a push pin.
And then they feed in here.
All right, so just whatever works on these boys. So like.
Yeah, just make them look clean.
All right. So once you get that safetied and secured, we're about to have a bike again, boys. Okay, so radiator is on. Tubes are done.
What are they?
Hoses.
Thank you.
Keep calling them tubes. Radiator is now officially on. Ta-da! All right. Now we need to install the pressure switch for the clutch, and then we can.
Yep, just like that.
So this is going to replace the banjo bolt that's in there.
Correct.
And all this is one with like little electrodes that say there's pressure.
So there's a little tiny like diaphragm inside. And the diaphragm gets pushed and it makes contact.
And then, okay, so it's just a power on, power off situation.
Yep.
All right, did we put this boy in tight?
I don't think so.
Tight enough to where my baby fingers can't get it. Okay, so you've already got the one on there. So I'm gonna take the old banjo bolt and the two crush washers off. New one in, new crush washer in. Am I going to there? Oh, okay, it was stuck on something. I'm gonna say.
You might have a hard time using that tool to put that back on.
Yeah. Now, where does this connect to?
We left the old switch.
Oh, so is this like a solder situation?
If it's long enough, we could probably just run it back here and plug it into where it gets plugged into.
Well, I don't think it's long enough at all, because it goes to like right there.
Man, that thing sticks out far.
Yep. Especially once you get all the fairings on it and everything.
It's got me concerned.
Like, so we ordered multiple of these pressure banjo bolt switches because we're worried that, like, once you have all the fairings on, like this dangling straight down.
Well, it's not going to go straight down. It'll be like that,
But I mean, that still sticks down a good chunk.
you know. Kind of just zip tie it to the brake line.
Should we wait to fill this line until we have all the fairings on just to make double sure that it fits?
Probably not a bad idea.
Yeah, because once we get all of the fairings that can't be spoken of because
We don't want to be
colors,
messing with fluid.
yeah, that's the last thing we want. Okay, because like that's not that big of a deal. So if we have to solder it, we can, but we just need to make sure that we don't put the wrong banjo bolt on that. So we'll hold off on that.
So where's the 90-degree one that we got? Is that in your hand?
This is not. Is that one just as big?
It's not. No, it's not as long. But I'm not sure if it's the right thread pitch and stuffs. That's it.
You want to have that one on just because it is a better chance at working?
Yes.
Okay.
That looks a little bit closer, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's better. Like it certainly doesn't go down as far as the other one.
Right.
So that'll be our best chance. Okay, so we're gonna not run fluid through that system.
And we're not going to solder the wires yet either.
Yeah, not yet, because we need to see what kind of space we're working with. What are you tinkering with? Because it makes me worried that something's wrong.
This spark plug wire was supposed to go in this groove and we didn't put it in.
Okay.
And
What
we're gonna-
groove?
Hard time getting it in there. That groove.
Oh,
It's
so you
supposed to be
have,
zip tied to it though. That's going to be super hard to get to.
oh, inside of this little. Oh shit.
And it gets 2 zip ties, top and bottom.
Shit. Where's the one go on the bottom?
Just right at the very end, around the plastic piece and around the wire. It holds it tucked in.
I see the little latch. Oh damn. We might be able to get the top. I don't know. Let's grab the zip tie. Let's try to play this game.
Sounds like you got the hook around.
All right, so the zip tie's in there.
Needle nose. If you can, you're just trying to flick the thing back this way.
And there's not a lot of space to mess with. Zip ties back around. Now, so I can go ahead and lock the zip tie on and then play the lasso game, right? Okay.
Yeah, let me see where you're at.
So I've got the zip tie back around. I just need to get it like.
Around the plastic piece.
Mm-hmm.
All right, see what you can do.
So the zip tie's on the lower one.
So put the lower one on.
Yeah, that's one. Okay. Son of beach.
Did you get it?
Yes.
All right.
On the bottom. Okay.
All right, is that gonna be enough to keep it from hitting the radiator?
Once I get the top one on, yeah, I think so. Brian, zip tie trick number
A
one.
little further, a little longer. There you go. And then as soon as you get it like right at the end, tighter. Like right at
See?
and then do it real quick so it doesn't have a chance to open up.
Okay. All right.
In the groove.
It's about to be. It's about to be all up in this groove. In the groove, confirmed.
And tight.
Tight as my baby fingers. Okay. And it's not touching.
There we go.
Look at that. Didn't have to take shit apart. We were going down a dirt road and saw a puddle and was like, bro, we can't drive through that puddle. And we just backed it up in full send.
Gave it a, this should be interesting.
You're just twisting it off? Well, that's certainly one way to do it. Wow. It came off way easier than I expected it to. Look at that. Pro tip number 2. Brian and zip ties. We should make an entire video. Brian's zip tie tips with Brian. All right.
Okay.
Alrighty then. So now bleed the rear brake, get the banjo bolt with the pressure switch in it, and we're good. All right. I'll get the towels. You get the drinks.
Now is that all set up the right way?
Probably.
Okay. Important lesson learned last time. This needs to be like this.
Hey Brian, can you hold that towards the horizon? Like the bottom of a milkshake. Should I even just...
Now you can
Yeah.
get the rest of that. I'll hold on to this for you.
Thank you.
You looked a little,
I was trying to be,
didn't know what to do.
yeah, just trying to be careful. All right, so now there's still brake fluid in the system.
Oh yeah.
So, wait, there's no bleeder thing.
It's on the rear wheel, on the rear caliper.
Right. Okay. So now it's pump, pump, pump.
Just crack it loose. We're not bleeding, we're draining.
Should there have
Is there
been,
anything coming out?
I mean, barely anything.
Is that hose on there tight, or is it on there loose?
No, it's on there pretty tight. Should we press this? Or will that do nothing?
It might do something.
Yay!
That should be enough brake fluid out of it to swap that out, so. I was expecting way more brake fluid than that out of it.
Is that a good, like, what's that mean?
I don't know. Probably gonna have a lot of fun bleeding this thing, that's what it means. And when I mean fun, I mean no fun at all.
Yep. I picked up what you had placed so delicately on the ground. All right, so now removing this banjo bolt. Oh, how convenient. Okay.
Now grab a blue rag just in case some fluid leaks out of there. I can't see. Got it?
Mm-hmm. All right. So I'm going tight on this, right? That's what I was thinking too. It's right along the same lines. All right, so this is going to do the same thing of like thread into wherever the brake light switch situation is.
So let's just wipe this off real quick just in case.
So for this, could we take like a piece of shrink wrap tubing and put it all the way over so we don't have this red poked out?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are we gonna, and that's a solder situation as well?
Mm-hmm. Because this goes like way up here somewhere,
Oh, okay.
which is why we cut it.
Right, way easier. And
But
I guess,
like we said before, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to fill and bleed the system if we're going to be getting a new reservoir.
right.
Otherwise, we're just going to do it again so we can
I was gonna say, should we remove this, but if we keep it there, everything is where it's
Still
supposed to
sealed,
be.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I just realized that Terminoni's logo is stamped into this band.
You didn't notice that when we got the exhaust? Hey, we should carve that into the heat shield that we're gonna have to modify. That we're gonna modify on an episode. Somebody in the last Direct Bike Rebuild told me in the comments that the heat shield's not the right one. So
Thanks for coming.
thanks, we really appreciate those comments. You're killing the game.
I don't think we spent like, I don't know, what, like an hour figuring out that it was the wrong one.
Right, and said it in the video that it was a thing. All right. Okay, so that's the tubing.
It's the radiator
Hoses.
hoses, radiator brace, and pressure switch for the clutch, pressure switch for the rear brake.
Right. You're gonna get sucked into the.
Just trying to get all the fluid out of it.
Hey, don't
Or
let that
into
fluid get into that vacuum.
Thanks.
It'll mess it up. So guys, that's gonna be the end of the episode 17 of Wrecked Bike Rebuild. Got the radiator on, got the hoses on, and we're kind of like, it doesn't make sense to do work, and we're gonna have to undo that work later on. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to hit the like button. If you want to potentially win the motorcycle, top link in the description is gonna take you to Patreon, and that's how we support the show. Thank you guys for watching the video, especially you guys that got to the end of it. We'll see you guys on the next one. Outro crew, do you think it's worth it to do the hoses, like to upgrade these hoses, if you were just like had your whole bike put together? Do you think it would be worth it to get the hoses? Brian, what are the benefits of having these hoses?
Well, they don't crack and dry rot like your standard hose does, and they supposedly dissipate more heat.
So your bike will run cooler.
Yeah, slightly.
So do you guys think that that would be worth all the trouble you would have to go through to replace the hoses? Let us know in the comments. Also, super high five for being in the outro crew. We'll see you on the next one.